Sancre-Tor, and the birth of Ramon, and in those days the empire of the Cyrodiils was dead, save in memory only, for through war and slug famine and iniquitous rulers, the west split from east, and Calovia's estrangement lasted some for hundreds of years, and the earth was sick with this sundering. Once worthy western kings, of Anvil and Sarchal, of Falkreath and Deladil, became through pride and habit as like thief barons, and forgot covenant. In the heartland things were no better, as Arcanus and false moth princes lay in drug stupor, or the studies of vileness, and no one sat on the throne in dusted generations. Snakes and the warnings of snakes went unheeded, and the land bled with ghosts and deepest holes into cold harbors. It is said that even the Chim-El Adabal, the amulet of kings of glory, had been lost, and its people saw no reason to find it. And it was in this darkness that King Hrol set out from the lands beyond Lost Twill with a sortie of questing knights, numbered 18 less than one, all of them western sons and daughters. For Hrol had seen in his visions the snakes to come, and sought to heal all the borders of his forebears. And to this host appeared at least a spirit who resembled none other than Elistia, queen of the ancient times, who bore in her left hand the dragonfire of the Akatosh, and in her right hand the jewels of the covenant, and on her breast a wound that split void onto her mangled feet. And seeing Elistia and Chim-El Adabal, Hrol and his knights wailed and set to their knees, and prayed for all things to become as right. And to them the spirit said, I am the healer of all men, and the mother of dragons. But as you have run so many times for me, so shall I run, until you learn my pain, which renders you and all this land dead. And the spirit fled from them, and they split among the hills and forests to find her, all grieving that they had become a villainous people. Hrol and his shield thane were the only ones to find her, and the king spoke to her, saying, I love you, sweet Aless, sweet wife of Shor and of Oriel and the sacred bull, and would render this land alive again, not through pain, but through a return to the dragon fires of covenant, to join east and west, and throw off all ruin. And the shield thane bore witness to the spirit opening and naked to his king, carving on a nearby rock the words, and Hrol did love unto a hillock, before dying in the sight of their own union. When the 15 other kings found King Hrol, they saw him dead after his labors against a mound of mud, and they parted in each their way, and some went mad, and the 2 that returned to their homeland beyond Twill would say nothing of Hrol, and acted ashamed for him. But after 9 months, that mound of mud became as a mountain, and there were whispers among the shepherds and bulls. A small community of believers gathered around that growing hill during the days of its first churning, and they were the first to name it the Golden Hill, Sancre-Tor. And it was the shepherdess, said Yenna, who dared climb the hill when she heard his first cry. And at its peak she saw what it had yielded, an infant she named Reman, which is the light of man. And in the child's forehead was the Chim-El Adabal, alive with the dragon fires of yore and divine promise. And none dared obstruct Sedyenna when she climbed the steps of the white gold tower to place the babe, Reman, on his throne, where he spoke as an adult, saying, I am Cyrodiil, come. Chapter 2. The Chevalier Renaud, Blade of the Pig. And in the days of Intergnum, the Chim-El Adabal was lost again amid the petty wars of gone heathen kings. West and East knew no union, and all the lands outside of them saw Cyrodiil as a nest of snakemen and snakes. And for 4 more hundreds of years did the seed of Reman stay sundered, with only machinations of a group of loyal knights keeping all its borders from throwing wide. These loyal knights did go by no name, but were known by their eastern swords and painted eyes, and it was whispered that they were descended from the bodyguard of old Reman. One of their number, called the Chevalier Renaud, discovered the prowess of Cuchulainn, and then supported him toward the throne. Only later would it be revealed that Renaud did this thing to come closer to Talos, a non-Stormcrown, the glorious yet Emperor Tiber Septim. Only later still that he was under his instruction by a pig. Long Glory was wife to all the knights of the Dragon Banner, who knew no other, and were brothers before beyond many seas, and were now brothers under the law. Name the blade's surrender of Pale Pass, and having vampire blood, these brother knights lived for ages through past and Reman, and then kept guard over his ward. The Coiled King, Versidu Shai, the snake captain Vershu became Renaud, became the protector of the northern west when the black dart was hooked into Severian Chorok. Editor's note: the rest of this ancient book has been lost. Isn't that cool? There's a little art.